once I came in that they were talking about that, but I was like, I turned down the volume. Oh, tomorrow I have to leave out early.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. I like to be off on Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays by 8 o'clock anyway. So because
Oh, okay.
my phone starts to ring and trying to answer questions and resolving stuff. And I really like to be attentive to this space too, you know. Um I don't feel like I'm like 100% in when I have to go off and then shift my energy back
Mm-hmm.
over. So
Okay.
yeah, well, that's fine. It's
So
a good
Wednesday, Thursday,
practice.
Friday. I have to remember that though. I'm gonna put it up on a sticky note someplace that says that you prefer to be off earlier. But if you need to leave and I'm still talking, please.
Yeah, that's
You know,
how I have planned it. Yeah.
yeah, I try not to miss a beat. Um
Just got out the shower. And just thrown back.
uh-huh. Um Girl, yesterday I went for a massage yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah, that book, the 5 a.m. Club recommends that you get it recommended that you get a massage twice a week. I'm like, I ain't got no twice a week money.
Okay.
So I may have every other week stuff like that, but not no twice a week. So I went down to this place called A Link, which is down on 36, right
Mhm.
by St. Clair. It's a Black owned. I think they have just like a fitness because they got a fitness gym area, and
Okay.
they've got and then they do a whole bunch of other things, especially around sports medicine. And yeah, so there's a woman, Dr. Carpenter, who did my massage. And I didn't, since I had never been to her, I had only met her when I was there for a yoga class. I didn't, had no idea of what that massage was going to be like. But girl, let me tell you,
Was it
it
one
was
hour?
almost, yes. Well, she charges $1 a minute. So you could literally
Okay.
go for 15 minutes if you want to.
Okay.
But girl, I'm gonna tell you, it was like I felt like somebody rang the bell, ding, and then she went to like this on my muscles, like oh, there was moments where I just wanted to holla. She was like, at one point I was like, I said, "You get it yet?" And she was like, "It's fighting me back, but I'm gonna get it." I was like, I know you win it.
Sorry.
Girl, I just wanted to holla. She did the darn thing. She subdued my body. There was nothing. And you know how you think you're gonna come out all relaxed and everything? I came out thinking to myself, I am just a walking tension bomb. Like, when she got hold of me, it was like I did not realize how much tension I had in my body.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like working that stuff out and wrestling with those doggone. I was like, I knew it was something there, but dang, I ain't. She was like, yeah. She was like, I got it. I could feel when she was going over those, and you know how you have knots or
Capillaries.
something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God. She was like, poop, poop, poop. I have had some, no, she had her own, her stuff. Good morning, Erica. No, she had her
Good
own
morning,
stuff.
Erica.
But yeah,
Wow.
she did the doggone thing. So, I'll go back and
Yeah, you should go back.
yeah, it made me feel like though that I needed to just go like a few times just to get her to work the stuff out and
Yeah.
then go for maintenance. But I don't know. It was like I literally wanted to scream,
Did you get in
especially
the sauna afterwards?
I got in the sauna last night. I didn't get in
Yeah.
the sauna
Okay.
yet, but I got in the sauna last night and I fell asleep
Yeah.
as soon as I
Yeah. That's perfect. That's
oh,
some yummy good stuff. The massage, and then the sauna, then the water, then the pee.
yes.
Toxins
So
out.
it was,
Good.
and yesterday was really emotional because I went by the house to my cousin, and there was you know it's like the first thing I'm going to say is really that I got no words, because I didn't. I can't even. I couldn't even imagine, and so it was a house full of people, and it was just girl, it was just emotional. So I left there to go to my massage, and yeah, it's
Well,
just
then that may
crazy.
be another reason why your body was on point, like on,
Mhm.
in knots too, if you just left that environment and then you go to get it rubbed out. But that was perfect though. The
Yeah,
the the
I think,
timing of it was absolutely
yeah.
amazing.
And then she does this facial cranial massage that was awesome. I was like, oh, she was like, some people just come in here just to get their face and their head
I
massage.
bet
She was
that would
like,
probably be my
you don't,
story.
yeah, they do. She was like, you don't even know how much tension you have in your head until somebody starts touching it. And it was like, oh, it was so good. Uh-oh. So good morning, everybody. Let me make a couple of adjustments here because I'm busy talking and forgot to make the adjustments once I got in here. So that one is made. And I know that I am not necessarily able to do all this. But let me say to you, it's so funny because let me pray us in, and then we can start our conversation as if we haven't already.
Mhm.
So Father, Mother God, in this moment, as we just breathe together in this space, we know we come here for a purpose and a plan that you have to do through us. We give thanks for the time, the attention. We give thanks for this space being one where we work through and work out whatever it is that people need, that we need. We support this space. We know that the words spoken here are filled with your light, love, and wisdom of the highest. We open our space to you, our hearts and our minds to you. Have your way, have your way, have your way.
Mhm.
And so we just let it be. And so it is. Amen, amen, amen. Y'all, so let me say this too, because my aunt yesterday when I was over to the house, she was telling me, she was like, she's telling everybody else, I watch Sandy and them on the thing in the morning. And she was like, and they can have a whole conversation about whether the picture is straight on the wall. And I'm thinking to myself, okay. and, and so she was like, I watch you. I know you cut the grass. I know when you cut the grass. I know when you did. I was like thinking, okay. But and so she was like, I don't know what else y'all are talking about. That's what she said.
He
And
said that?
yeah, that's what, but what I realized through that is that, like you said, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And so sometimes people don't hear everything that we talk about. They hear
Yeah.
what relates to them.
Yeah.
And so my sister had given her a copy of Anatomy of the Spirit, and she was like, yeah, I've been reading it, but every time I start reading it, I fall asleep. And
Oh.
I thought, okay, that's a sure sign that you're not quite ready
Yeah.
for what it's saying, because sometimes the ideas and thoughts will overwhelm you to the point where you got the subconscious mind just goes to sleep. Sometimes I think it's just working on you,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
can
I mean,
read
because
a little bit.
that
Mhm.
happens in therapy. So
Yeah.
in therapy, I have cold packs and I have essential oils, and especially with my trauma clients or whatever, I'll say there may be a time in session where you just shut down, like you just like, I can't keep my eyes open, I can't stay awake
Mhm.
because the work is a lot, and
Mhm.
the body wants to rest. It
Mhm.
just wants to like, no, we're not going there. Let's put it to sleep. Let's put it to
Mhm.
sleep. So it happens. Like it is, so don't, the book is boring. No, you just may not be ready for the information.
Right. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was really just, it was interesting, whether I'm listening to how somebody else kind of receives or whatever the case may be. I know that it's interesting to just yeah, if she, Erica gonna say, not if I'm paying for it. Like she ain't going to sleep doing therapy if she's paying.
Well, good. Thank goodness.
but
Right.
but yeah, it's really interesting the way that people, I'm honored by the attention, period, because I know that even when I have gone to sleep on stuff, it's as if I still feel like ministered to, like my
Mm-hmm.
subconscious is
Mm-hmm.
still working with whatever it is that I received. And a lot of times I do not know where thoughts that I have come from. And so I'm just claiming that is part of it. Yeah.
So that's interesting that you would say that, because I just read a piece. Actually, I listened to a piece from Carolyn Meese where she said that the seven chakras, um, that they keep track of where we invest our spirit. And
Mm,
so, yeah, wherever the energies are, where things would go, where they're supposed to
mhm,
go, where you invest
mhm.
your spirit. Yeah. So that's really cool because it's true.
Yeah. And so let me touch back on my massage for just a second. Yesterday, when I was in the massage, I was thinking to myself, this woman, the Dr. Carpenter, she was having no interest in relaxing me. Like, you know how you go to some masseuse and then you come out, or you go fall asleep on the table and you come out feeling so good. She was so not interested in my relaxation. She
Hmm.
was interested in subduing these muscles. And so it was a very different massage than one that I have ever had, because I think that, for her, and she gonna come in, and she told me that she does a lot of athletes um, that come in just to get stretched, or to have, and that was what she did. And so sometimes I think that when I like to use body analogies for mental analogies too. Sometimes it's the wrestling with issues that really help us work them out. So the fact that she like attacked my body like it was a
And you
machine.
hadn't given her a narrative or anything.
Wait a minute. I first off, I told her, when she asked me, what kind of massage do you want? I said, I read in that 5 a.m. book that you should get a deep tissue massage.
Oh,
I don't think that I'm ready for that. And she was like,
oh,
well, we'll go medium. And I was thinking to myself, if that shit was
that's
me.
medium. Wow, that's how you walked away with medium.
Oh but I'm so glad
Wow.
though. I'm so glad
Yeah.
that,
Wow.
yeah, I'm gonna turn this light down a little bit because I'm looking washed out to me. That's better. That's better. All right. Yeah. Okay. So so yeah, that was the case there. So today, how's everything with you before we
Good.
jump off of this?
Everything is good for me. I had a
Okay.
really long day yesterday and did some things different with my diet. And
Mm,
so that helped a lot. Because I'm usually kind of tapped out by the end of my 4 o'clock, then I have a 5 and a 6 and then a 7. And by the end of my 4 o'clock, I'm like having to be creative, like finding stuff for us to be doing so I can stay engaged and connected to hear what my client needs. But I did a smoothie, a kale and spinach and strawberry and banana smoothie around 2:30ish.
mm-hmm.
And I kind of felt a little bit more alive and awake. Like usually I'm like going for my green tea, but the green tea didn't last me yesterday. So yeah, so I tried something different, and now I'm just gonna try to keep doing the kale thing in the middle of the day. See what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. I'm interesting with tea. I always tell people that tea makes me pee. So I try my best not to have it unless I'm close. I love tea. I
Do
love tea.
you
But oh my God, it'll have me running.
the caffeine? But the caffeine in coffee doesn't.
The caffeine in coffee clears me out. It doesn't
Okay.
necessarily have me running back and forth.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's
once,
interesting.
yeah. But tea will do that for me. So so I want to we're still in this one section that we need to
Directing our power.
um yes, we said yesterday, I think that we were leaving off there and that we were going to return to this or finish this part up so that we can move on a bit from this. And I'm not quite sure why we pulled up from this. Yeah. So it's really interesting though when we start talking about this thing as far as power is concerned. Now, what concerned me yesterday as I listened to my aunt talk about this, I was kind of like thinking to myself, like, okay, I think that we're moving slow enough that we talk about whether we talk about judgment or forgiveness or the background work that we need to do. We also talked about the value of feelings and emotions when we first started out all of this stuff, right? And even before when we were doing the Lent stuff, we talked a lot about some of this stuff. As I watched my cousin yesterday, I wanted to be in a space where, you know, I mean, grief is hard. And for me, I would imagine that somebody would probably have to pick me up off of the ground, you know. Um, you mentioned the Wailing Wall,
Mhm.
and this I used to hate though when like say for instance I lost somebody that everybody that came up wanted to cry with you all over again, and I'm like thinking to myself, like, I got that crying out the first couple of days. I don't need to at the funeral every time do another cry routine with everybody. So, but I realized that there is a place for just allowing yourself to just ugly cry if you need to do if I need to wail for a minute, just whatever, getting all of that. And that's not to say that you ever completely get it all out of your system. Sometimes I still can see a picture of my parents, like this one with my dad that I got right up over my shoulder. When my girlfriend gave me that picture, I cried all over again, and it had been years later. I don't know that you ever get done with that sense of needing to cry, but it is nice to feel though as though you have permission
Absolutely.
and be supported in that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things, like with the Jewish tradition, and I don't know, other people may do it too. This is my limit of knowledge. How the burial happens immediately after. So everyone that is there, with our way of doing loss is that, you have your initial family that's there, and you all have your experiences as intense as they are because information is fresh. But then 3, 4, 5, 6 days later, you got other people that's coming into a space and then the souls all congregate. And so everybody's soul is almost, in my humble opinion, playing catch up by the time the funeral is there. The collaboration, because what about the person who is longing to be in a connection with you because of your loss? So it's not even about the loss as much as it is, oh, I wish I could be there with Sandra to support her in this. And then that soul can connect with you. And then when it gets with you, it's like, it's not only crying for the loss, but it's crying for imagining what you could possibly be going through. So even if you've gotten your ugly cry out 4 days later, the new people that show up, they're just like, oh, they're like pouring their hearts out for you and for the experiences that you have.
Yeah. So, I think it's interesting when you look across cultures too, and understand that some of these traditions go way back. And like I used to think, and how we did my brothers who just passed last year was more along the lines of a New Orleans funeral where we got a jazz band to come in, and we ain't gonna sit here and let y'all mope about this. We're when my brother was really living his life, this would have been what he would have done. Let's get a horn player and a bass up in here, and and jazz this thing up. But another friend of mine who comes from Ghana says that the body a lot of times lays in state inside of the house for
I've heard of that.
Yes. And I was like, how does that not smell or whatever? And he was like, oh, we cover it with leaves at night. And he was
I
like, and
thought
then
they
the
had some
next,
kind of ritual that they cover and curate the body,
yeah,
with
I don't know the whole process,
spices
but
and
that's what
herbs and
yeah, they keep them there in the house, and people, and so when he was telling me about, the way that he was taking a long time to fly back for his mother's funeral, I was like thinking, like, was she beat in there? How long? And he's like, oh, she'll lay there for a while. Okay. Can't get no more dead than dead. But yeah, it was like no rush, which was amazing to me. So, and so because we don't allow ourselves to see that, I mean, it's for us, it's such a whisk this away and not be bothered with it until it's now staged and people come back or whatever. There is such a different dynamic that we have, that we've learned. And yeah, and so that becomes the practice. So whatever the case may be, I just the other part of that is that we are like that with so much of our lives, right?
Oh, what you do one place, you do every place.
Yes, yes. And so we do the same thing with our feelings or our emotions. Suck it up, hurry up and get over it, whisk that away. We do it with our, the attachment that we have to our food. We go into a grocery store, we see it all nice and sterile when it's presented, but don't really see that this was once a life that is now on display for you to consume. And so, this kind of thing is played out over and over again, which doesn't give us a visceral connection to the realities of life.
Yeah, I think that's what I love most about this introduction to this anatomy of the spirit, is because I think what you're explaining and what the awareness that you're just described requires us to be in a place of consciousness.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
have to like slow it down and say, like, what am I really feeling? What is my experience here?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I because I don't I we get so hyper focused on this 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 what right here, and we are so amazingly programmed to do the next thing, and when we do the next thing, it makes the next person comfortable. It's when we don't do the next thing that somebody goes, what is she doing? When we don't do the predictable thing,
Yeah.
it creates a
Yeah.
crisis for someone else.
Right. Yeah. And so how do we so first off, I think that there is a power in really speaking to like the situation where we are. And if we give ourselves permission, that's what Marianne Williamson says. Once we give ourselves permission, we, without saying it, give other people permission as well. So, so I think that us living out our truth, whatever that may
Whatever that
mean.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. Even in this grappling with issues, sometimes it's so interesting. I had said to Alan the other day, I was like, at a certain point, we stopped talking. And he gave me this weird look, like, what do you mean we stopped talking? And I was like, talking about food is not talking, right? There is like a certain depth that real intimate conversations go to.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And sometimes we start skirting around issues so that we don't have to go deep in them. And that requires the consciousness of two people. It requires the willingness of two people,
To go
or how
there.
many ever, yeah, how many ever other. But when you just tiptoe around the edges, you really don't get a chance to explore what it is that you really think and why.
Why
So
do
I
you
think
think that
we,
happens?
why do you think that happens? Is that what you said?
Mm.
I think it's
It's a
out of,
rhetorical question for the world,
yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah.
I think it's out of, one is out of fear. Um, but the other one is that, I'm fond of saying that when you find out you have a button, it should be your willingness to just kind of like that woman did my body yesterday. She was like, oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Lay
that
at your
much
own
time.
risk.
Yeah. Instead of her just like backing off, she was like, oh, here go one. And and then she gonna ask me, how long have you had this right here, this tightness in your back? And I was like thinking, oh, that spot, like, oh, it's been there for a while. And then she was telling me, she was like, I was trying to get to the root of it, like, and this connecting tissue and that over. And she was like, I was like, I know, I felt it. I felt it. But usually what we do is that when we find a tender spot, we retreat, right?
Yeah.
instead of attacking it and saying, wrestling with it. Like, and I love that story of what's his name? Who wrestled with the angel? Joseph?
Oh, Jacob.
Jacob wrestled with the angel. I love that analogy of wrestling until you get your blessing. And whatever that may mean in a particular situation, let me not just skirt by it or see it there and just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna tippy toe around that because I know that they don't, I think that it requires for us to show up and and duke up if that's what needs to happen in order to grapple with it. And then on the other side, like this doggone deep tissue thing that Erica is over here talking about, on the other side of that, you get the real blessing
Yeah.
because you've done the wrestling.
Yeah.
um it used to be
And the
that people.
wrestling can, I don't know how you hear wrestling or other people hear wrestling. It doesn't have to be this harsh, hard experience, but it
Mhm.
does have to be asking questions like, what is this? What am I afraid? What am I afraid of? Because those are questions I'm going to ask you. So,
Mhm.
like, tell me what's coming up for me. Why is this a stopgap? Why can't I go deeper in a conversation with this person? Like, what is, those type of question, asking ourselves questions like, who doesn't want to go further? Who is it?
Right. But one of the things that Brene Brown called it is armoring up.
Mm.
When we put up our shield or our armor, what causes that? You
Mhm.
know, what is the thought about ourselves that we need to put on protective gear?
Mhm.
You know, so that people don't see us. And the way that we talked in the 5 a.m. group, this mask that we wear, right? What what is it about us that feels more comfortable behind the mask or without dealing? And so what happens if somebody comes and pulls your curtain or just, like, you know what happens then? And so I think those are all questions that's part of the wrestling match.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, that. And so and so for me, I'm trying to think of I have a friend of mine's, just to kind of I guess to put some of this energy stuff in perspective. I have a friend of mine who was, he had this amazing position at for in, as far as positions go, where he was in pharmaceutical sales for a long time. And in his pharmaceutical sales, he was pushing this one particular, making good money, right? Because pharmaceutical sales was, relatively good money. And but there was this one particular drug that they were pushing that as time went on, they were finding out this drug was doing people a disservice, right? Rather than a service. And he said that the more that the studies came out against this, the more they had him pushing it. Like, well, we need to sell off all that we've manufactured, or we need to get rid of this before all of this stuff comes to light, something like that, to that extent. And so he said he started having problems because he says, now I'm in a moral position. And the moral position dictates that if I know something, I can't turn around and then deceive you. And he says, but a lot of times people think that that's what they're exactly what they're supposed to do. That's what they're getting paid to do, to be duplicitous or deceptive, and to do whatever it is the company line is. He says, but then there's a certain point at which you can no longer live with yourself when you are out of congruency with what it is that you believe. And so he ended up having to leave his job. So, and for him, it was rather traumatic because that departure was also a departure from a lifestyle. There was a lot of stuff that went on as he pulled out, and then really trying to, because it wasn't like he was going to get unemployment or anything like that. It was like, okay, now where do I find solid ground? And have I made enough investments with the money that I had to carry me over? So it's really interesting to kind of watch this in the context of it being somebody else who grapples with the issues. So he goes from that situation to then trying to, sell off and or turn around some of the properties that he had already, so just really trying to work what he had.
Mm-hmm.
And then came an offer from someone that he had worked with before, saying, you know what? And I want to do one of those matrix things. You know what? I can move all of this. And she slid it out right off of the table. You don't have to worry about a thing. I got this house here. I got this life here. Come on, come on. And so what he did is for a time, he moved in with her to sort of be her arm candy and to be taken care of on that. And then that presented another dilemma, because now you've got the prostitute archetype that was before in there. The prostitute archetype is saying, hey, we making this money. Shut up, shut your mouth about this doggone drug. So what? And we had to wrestle and subdue that. And then he turns around, and in the moments when he's really struggling, somebody else dangles a carrot in front of his face and says, come on, chase after this, because I'm gonna give you an allowance. I got you in this. You got this car, you don't have to worry about anything. That's the next carrot. And then you get in that situation only to find out that you thought you were being pimped before. And now look at what's happening to you now. And so now here is another moral dilemma. And a lot of times people are in these dilemmas all the time and don't recognize that that's where they are.
It's
right?
A pattern. Even him
Yes.
being a pharmaceutical technician or salesperson, he was on the other end of the dangling the carrot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pattern that would be like, wow, that there's a pattern there. Do you want to explore that? Because
Right.
there is a pattern, even before, yeah, there's a pattern. And it's amazing how there's that pattern of him doing his job, and then there's the pattern of him saving himself from that dilemma, the hero, just the journey, and then he goes back into it prayerfully with the ending being, oh, I see me.
Yeah.
And then you go and you start the self-correction and doing a journey of healing and rebirthing. But
right.
yeah,
Right.
that's a cool story, and I love to see that those things
Yeah.
play out. I don't know how his story ended, but I can certainly see the patterns of again and again and again. But as you do the again, you're
Right.
evolving and growing and
Right.
getting these
Right.
amazing ahas.
But one of the things that I have found though is that it's really wonderful when you can stop. You can recognize first off that that you're going through this, right? And it's a wonderful thing when you can stop and figure out how to be grateful. And I think that was one of the challenges that I had. So that song, I Am So Blessed by Karen Drucker, is one of those things that, to say for all that I have. I'm not going based on it. I'm being grateful for what I have, not based on comparison to what somebody else has, not based on, oh, but so-and-so has this and so-and-so has that, and not getting caught up in everybody else's stuff. But I'm so grateful for what I have.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times people can't even get there because they're so busy caught up in thinking about what they had, comparing themselves to what was before, or comparing themselves to what their neighbor has or somebody else has. And you never get to the point where you just say, with all that I have, right where I am, just like it is, I am so grateful. Oh,
I
that's
think that that's the
powerful.
journey, though. I think that that is the journey. I imagine that people will definitely get there eventually. And yeah, because I think that that's the bottom line at the end of the day, or you just are just one grumpy old person, which is a society that we live in some of the time.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But sometimes though it is that people are, what do I want to say, that there is, until you get it, you don't get it. I think that people don't always get it. It takes some um it takes some healing work to stop feeling as if you need to compare yourself
well,
to
that's a whole
others.
reprogramming.
Mm,
Don't we live in a
yeah.
society that says you must compare yourself to whatever, be it your car, your clothes, your how fast you get to the stop sign? I'm getting to the same stop sign you're getting to, but it is important that I become a winner if I get there before you. Like this, it's you talk about remembering and reprogramming. Like it's almost like, is that the whole plan, universe? Is that this whole thing is about putting my members, my whole self back together again, and then reprogramming? Like you just kind of like put the puzzle. Oh, puzzles, really good. That just came to me. Putting the puzzle back together. It started off whole, then it, had these little pieces, and then you put it back together. Um, but having to we just always are having to reprogram ourselves, remember, because we are in a society that forces us to compare.
Mm-hmm.
We just are. And now I'm curious, I'll be thinking about it all day. Like, how soon do we start to compare? I'm trying to remember.
Isn't that in elementary school when
I don't know. I wonder if it's before.
I don't know. So I don't know, right? But
Yeah.
I remember when kids start to talk about, they become conscious of stuff like race and color, and
Mm-hmm.
about what they have and don't have. And it seems as though it is at some point in elementary school where all those things are, start to
Unless you go to Sunday school before that,
become
being
apparent.
in school.
Okay.
And you got Easter
Okay.
programs and Christmas programs and the kids from the church and
Mm-hmm.
little
You
girls
know
and
how, because sometimes you read these narratives about people didn't even know that they were poor until a certain time, something
mm-hmm.
happens, and then all
It's
of a
true.
sudden it's like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
we're poor, right?
Right.
Or, oh,
Yeah.
wow, I'm actually, this color.
Something's wrong with the color of my skin. We're
Right,
getting cross
right.
burnings in front of our house because I'm chocolate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would be lovely if we could all keep a level of innocence and not have to be caught up in all of that. Um, so I think I want to, I don't know how this is going to fit in with what we have been talking about, but I guess I kind of want to read some from out of this book. before because tomorrow I will say to you guys, if forever whoever's watching us on a regular basis, tomorrow I have to be off of here early because I actually have a training that I do. And this is actually today, I've got my first one of the month. And tomorrow it happens to be at 8:30. So I have to be off of here pretty early. So I'm on page 56, not 156, on page 56, right in the second paragraph. Joanna soon recognized that her breast cancer, which appeared in the area of her body associated with giving and nurturing, would heal only if she took steps to honor herself, to develop self-esteem. Now, you guys will remember that I talk often about that reoccurring abscess that I had. And when I looked it up in the book, You Can Heal Your Life, I do believe it is. When I looked it up, it correlated to this idea of that I was not giving of my milk. And that became a quest for me to figure out what my milk was, because apparently I had not had any children and didn't have any milk in me. So I knew that it had to be something that was symbolic. If you have had problems in this particular area, in the area of your giving and your nurturing, which is for women and for men, the breast area, if you are having issues in that particular area, then that means that you step back and ask yourself questions about what this could mean for you. What is it that you are withholding or not giving? Oh man, and this is good. This is good, because what popped into my mind is the story about the talents too.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
yeah. When you and when he buried that
Oh,
talent,
that just like that was an arrow.
yeah, when he buried that talent, it was like, you wicked and slothful servant, even that which you have will be taken from you. Because part of what we are here to do is this givingness. Oh, I just, yes, yes. Okay.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So increasingly, Joanna gained an internal image of herself as a strong individual. By thinking of herself as an individual, she began a relationship with herself that she had not previously considered possible, since her concept of identity had always required, and it says it in italics, it required a spouse. So in our society, you guys know that there are so many people who are defined by their relationships. Because there is I remember going to work at this one company, and at first when I worked there, it wasn't like I wasn't in the mainstream of things, but I got a sort of a promotion. And in the promotion, I went into a different department that was filled with older white people. And I will tell you, I had one of those moments like, I have never, my dog fell off of the drawer again. I don't know how she keeps falling off of this lower drawer. She never fell off of the higher drawer. She was knocked out and she must have rolled over. She fell. Poor baby. But I had one of those I never moments. So they would come up to me and start asking me questions. So are you married? And I was like, no. Oh, I'm so sorry. Which was one of those moments like, what? As if to say, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, you must be a social reject, or there must be something wrong with you. And I was thinking, I can't even imagine getting that kind of pressure on a daily basis to say, look, oh no, the color purple. Looks, daddy, I is married now. As if that was, you
Validation.
know, yes.
Somebody wants me.
Uh, and you know what? I can remember receiving that message and reject. I rejected it then. And I am saying to you now that if somebody has put that trip on you, give it right back to them. You are just as you are.
Yeah, and
Just
just
as you and
find out what's hurting so it can tell you what it is that you're what you could possibly be holding on to, because there are messages in our
mhm.
society that puts a hold on us. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and we got to figure out how to shake that, how to grapple with that, how to wrestle with that idea that as you are enough,
Yeah,
right? You are enough.
yeah, yeah.
And so sometimes if I, so I get that there is a pressure out here. So I'm sorry, did you have anything else on that before I kind of delve back into this for a minute?
Mm.
So, as Joanna came to the recognition of her own needs, she exercised her inner authority by standing up to Neil and demanding he adhere to their marriage vows. Oh, this is the woman whose husband was cheating on her constantly, and she kind of felt like a doormat throughout the particular relationship. And we see people all the time who have what do I want to say? They basically have become doormats for these in these domineering relationships. They said, and I think the way that she conveyed one of the stories about the woman is when he kicked her out of the bed or out of the bedroom, she laid and slept on the floor in the doorway. And he would just basically walk over her and keep moving. Sometimes, our own thing is that we need to learn how to pick up our beds and walk, be strong enough to do the work and the healing work ourselves. And this is not, because I think sometimes what we do is we do it based on a sense of pride, but we also have to work on our sense of worth, man. And when we get that we are worthy of more than that, it works out. Okay, so I'm gonna finish this up real quick. I'm just gonna read the stuff that I have highlighted, and then sort of close us out. They realize that they have to take steps to change. In the process of healing, they learn to detach themselves from objects or people who are drawing the strength right out of their bodies. So this idea of learning how to boundaries. What do I want to say about boundaries? What do you want to say about boundaries?
They're important. I'm not going to
There.
start it right now because it's 8:15.
Yeah. So,
But but boundaries are also things that are learned from our childhood too. So yeah, and the lack thereof.
yeah. And so we got to relearn those. The
Have to
necessity
relearn it.
of change makes healing a terrifying experience for many people.
Yes.
These
Yes.
individuals know consciously and unconsciously that unplugging their energy circuits from a power target is the
Hmm.
same as saying goodbye to it. Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's that ripping. Oh,
Yes, yes,
yes.
yes.
Oh my gosh.
So healing requires taking action. It is not a passive event. We
Mm.
are meant to draw on our inner resources to find the material strength to leave behind our outmoded beliefs and behaviors, and to see ourselves in new healthy ways, to take up our bed and walk.
So let me say something about that. So
Okay.
you say take up your bed and walk, and what I know is that the easiest thing for us to do is do things like that, take up our bed and walk. But the mindset, if that mindset is not delivered and arrested and stirred up and looked upon and examined and picked away, then we still lay our beds down somewhere else for somebody else to come and deliver us, so that that person then can tell us, take up our bed and walk. Because if the mindset doesn't get together, you can move out all you want, but if you're moving out with the same mindset, it's a wrap. And that's where spirit comes in, because our our human 3D focused cells are so thinking that if I just change my location, everything will be okay. But I come with it. I show up in my new location. And who is the I? And that's the one that has to be arrested. Or if that the I is estranged, that's the one that needs to be brought back into the fold as they are, and then helping to love them and nurture them to become their real self. But we pick up our beds and walk, but we don't change our mindsets. We don't relegate ourselves to our spirits. We pick up our bed and walk in me. And what is me? And who is me? And me got me here.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, one of the things that Jesus said is he said, go and sin no more.
Sin, no, I was going to say that, but I was
Right.
like, I'm not going down that rabbit
Right.
hole. But the
Well,
sin part is good, because go ahead, you define it.
but
I love
so
your
we're
definition.
redefining sin as anything that is not operating in our highest and best. A Course in Miracles would say sin is a lack of love.
Yeah.
Others would say sin is missing the mark. And so sin, not in the sense of like the dirty stuff that you may have learned about it before, but sin as in that you didn't do all that you like, go to your highest and best. You were at a place of less than.
You're in a place of consciousness.
Of unconsciousness.
Unconsciousness. Yes. Unconsciousness. Yes.
Yeah. And so, what you said when you first started is the easiest thing to do is pick up your bed and walk. And for some people that is not easy at all, right?
Yeah, this is true.
They have a hard time disengaging, and what's easiest for them is to do more of the same, even though in that situation that they're in, more of the same gets worse and worse.
Right.
The experience doesn't improve, but since they are doing the same thing they've always done, they think that that's sufficient, and it's simply not.
Yeah.
And so I think that on the walk, right, I think walking is a powerful thing. But on the walk, I think if we allow spirit to minister to us,
that's good.
That we start to hear something very different.
But
good. Usually we don't allow ourselves that space to change.
Yeah.
And so, so I think that there is a wonderful thing to being able to listen deeply to the instruction, and to know that you deserve better. You are worthy of better. Yeah. So we'll leave it there for right now, and see you guys tomorrow.
That was good.
And like I said, we will end up a little bit earlier tomorrow, but I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Me too.
Thank you.
All right, lady. Have a great day.
You
have to be a little chilly out there, so enjoy. I'm not going out.
Is it chilly today?
That's what I was informed of this morning.
Oh,
so
I know it's supposed to be cold tomorrow, but
okay.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm excited about the warm up whenever it gets here. So, but I got a ton of work to do today. So, yay!
All right.
All right. Be blessed.
All right. Have a great day.
All right. You too. Light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. The presence of God watches over you.
Yes.
Wherever you are, God is, and all is well. All right.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. All right, and we are out of here. I'm ending the meeting, and this went down some time ago. My on my end, so I'm not sure if all of this was captured or not. But regardless, we were here, and we'll see you tomorrow. Blessings.